Hi,
Okay. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you all in our 43rd edition of Sunday Synergy virtual webinar. After the fascinating conversation last week with Shumonde and Mitu Roy, today we are diving into a topic that touches almost every financial interaction that we make, whether it's opening a bank account, making a UPI payment, or applying for a loan, or protecting ourselves from digital fraud. So today, AI Agile Synergy has brought a very interesting topic called AI in Fintech, practical applications transforming India's financial services. Now, to set the context, when we hear about the term called artificial intelligence, it gives us an idea about futuristic things, right? Not a deterministic, but futuristic possibilities and probabilities. But in reality, very few of us knowing that already AI is in place when it comes to BFSI. Maybe knowingly or unknowingly, right? We are ignoring that, or we are thinking that, okay, it is something new that is coming up. So AI is already working behind the scenes in the financial services industry, enabling faster onboarding, smarter customer support, real-time fraud detection, instant credit decisions, and greater financial inclusion. Now, India's fintech ecosystem is among the most dynamic in the world, processing billions of digital transactions every month. As AI becomes increasingly embedded into these systems, important questions emerge around innovation, trust, regulation, explainability, and the future of the financial services. So, over the next hour, we will explore how AI is moving beyond the hype and delivering tangible value across the fintech ecosystem. So specifically, we will discuss around how AI is enabling faster and more secure digital KYC and customer onboarding. Now, that does not mean we don't have any loopholes. We do have loopholes, right? But still, we are trying to get there. The evolution of AI-powered customer support, from chatbots to intelligent virtual assistants and domain-specific LLMs. How financial institutions are using AI for real-time fraud detection, risk management, and transaction monitoring. The role of AI for instant loan approvals, alternative credit scoring, and expanding access to credit for first-time borrowers. Now, India's unique innovations such as MuleHunter.ai, the account aggregator framework, and BFSI-focused AI model. And the growing importance of responsible AI, explainability, governance, and regulatory compliance in financial services. So, without going further deep into it, right, I would like to introduce our speaker for the session. So, Raghuram Pandurangan brings over 25 years of technology experience, having worked with global leaders like GE Healthcare, NextGen Healthcare, Causeway Technologies, and Zoho Corporation. He holds BTech in chemical engineering and an MBA in IT system from ICFI. At PayU, Raghuram has been at the forefront of AI adoption in content workflows. They have implemented cutting-edge AI tools, including Cursor AI and Togan AI, across the documentation lifecycle, achieving a remarkable 60% improvement in terms of productivity. Under their leadership, the PayU documentation portal was launched to industry standards, making payment integration seamless for the developers. Raghuram is also recognized thought leader in the technical communication space. He's an active speaker at industry conferences, served as a vice president for Society of Technical Communication India from 2019 to 2021, and mentor the next generation of documentation professionals. Now, let me also take this moment to introduce our mentor for this session, Shubhra Haldar. She's an Agile Transformation Lead and RTE in Xerox. With over 2 decades of experience, Shubhra works at the intersection of people, technology, and purpose, enabling human-centric leadership, alignment, and sustainable transformation. She is known for bringing clarity and a strong human lens to agile AI and organizational change. So, welcome, Shubhra and Raghuram, for the conversation. And over to you, Shubhra, to take this journey forward.
Thank you, Shubhu. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. And it's an honor to moderate this session with Raghuram. And I'm glad that Raghuram could make it. So, without wasting any time, let's dive into the discussion. And as Shubhu said, I mean, this is really a very interesting topic because we all think AI as something very complex. AI means some agents working on or something like that. But then we sometimes forget to realize that we are already using AI somewhere or the other, right? And same thing is happening in banking. So with that context, like as I said, many people imagine AI in banking as futuristic agents or complex algorithms. But in reality, AI is already a part of our daily financial lives, whether it is personal recommendations or fraud alerts, or even the way transactions are processed today. So, what are some examples where customers interact with AI without even knowing it?
Okay. So let me first thank Subra for introducing me to this organization. You are doing an amazing job. When Subbu told that you have conducted so many sessions, that is a very big thing you're doing for the society and the network. Thanks once again. Okay, let me start with your question. So, how AI is? Where are you using every day, right? Yeah. So I will tell you an example. Like in the past 1 month, SDFC is becoming very stringent with the fraud detection of the card usage. So when I was using a card in a nearby store, I was trying to purchase several gift cards for the store and redeem it there, then and there. So when I made repeated transaction for the gift card to purchase a gift card, SDFC blocked my transaction and got an automated call, and it asked me whether you want to honor this transaction or you want to report it. So I said yes, I want to honor it. So this is a classic example of fraud detection in fintech industry. Here, what is done is there is something called fraud detection or risk and fraud management. We call it risk and fraud management in fintech, where SDFC is using the solution from our PayU sister concern Wipmo, which is for detecting the frauds. So SDFC has set some policies in this regard, and based on those policies, the pattern of the usage of card, region, time, so all these factors are considered, and your card transaction may not be honored for these factors. So since I try to purchase multiple gift cards, it may sound that maybe a fraudster got my card details and is trying to make gift cards for his future purchases, and it sounds very good use case of fraud. That's why I got I got my transaction blocked, and I got a call from SDFC. So this is a very good classic example of usage of AI. And if you look at what everyone is using, you would have seen when you are going to Flipkart or say Swiggy also. So you would have seen a lot of offers coming into your screen, right? So all these offers are using recommendation engine. So earlier recommendation engine was done manually, so with some algorithms, the program used to suggest. Nowadays, companies are using AI. So where is the data for the AI in this regard? So AI requires definitely data, right? So where is the data for it? It is based on whatever transactions you have done earlier. In Swiggy, you would have ordered so many food items. Is it a snack or is it a even a meal or something. So based on the time you're ordering, it picks up those data and analyze it, and AI will give the recommendation to the Swiggy, and Swiggy shows it. Okay, so these are the daily use cases where you are using AI, and there are so many other things. So if you're using any finance apps, right, where you are trying to get recommendation for the investing, right? So all those are based on the pattern, based on the age group you are. All those things are taken into it, and it is recommending you.
Wonderful. So, I also recollect getting those calls from HDFC when you spend either multiple times or a huge amount when you're spending, and then they just call and ask whether it is you who is spending this much amount, or is it a correct transaction or not? So yeah, things
Yeah,
are happening already.
yeah, it may be a kind of an friction for making the purchase. You may be quite be disturbed by why I'm getting this call when I'm going to make a transaction, genuine transaction. But HDFC is doing their job, right?
Yeah.
All these frauds and indirect way of bullying and all, right? So it is always recommended to HDFC stick to these kind of standards to avoid any fraud.
Right. So let's move to another topic, which is, I'm sure many of us have already experienced, which is AI in digital KYC. Digital KYC is something which is a trend now.
Yeah.
Earlier we used to go to banks for doing a KYC, but thankfully these days we can seamlessly do that using digital KYC. So customer onboarding has always been a critical step for financial institutions. So with digital KYC and video verification, AI is actually quietly working behind the scenes to ensure compliance while keeping the process smooth for customers, right?
Yes.
So what role does AI play behind the scenes in making customer onboarding seamless and compliant?
Yeah, so let me start with the simple use cases in this regard. Okay, so whenever you are going to open an account with bank, right? Nowadays, you have seen banks are allowing you to open savings account online itself, right? So when you are opening the account, they ask you for the PAN and Aadhaar, etc. Right? So in this regard, companies are using OCR, that is optical character recognition, to read your PAN and Aadhaar, whatever the screenshot of your Aadhaar or scan copy you share with them. And AI validates the fonts, holograms, and cross checks with the UIDAI, which is the organization which validates all your UPI payments, or the NSDL in seconds, right? So all this happens within seconds. And you would have seen that a processing cursor where it will be asking you to wait for some time so that all these things are done in the background. So this is one of the important use cases. So what are the other use cases are like risk layering. So whenever you are seeing doing the KYC, they will ask you to come for the video KYC, where you will be asked you to show your face, and they'll ask you to blink and all, right? So these are all part of AI to avoid any fraud happening here or impersonation, right? So we call this risk layering. So even in the background, if you see, right, so there'll be running names against PEP. PEP is politically exposed to people, because sometimes, right, they like even politically exposed people come for a deep fake calls, and they try to extract money, right? So these things also can happen. So there are several other things inside this risk layering concept. You can check it later also. So in the if you see the takeaway, right? So results is seamless. So at least for 95% genuine users, this AI is very helpful in this KYC and video KYC. And it will be tighter for 5% risk cases. So in case of risk cases, the human factor will be very helpful. So always human in the loop is very helpful in this regard. So always we are at least processing all these things in a very short period. So that is why, like, banks, right, advertise. So it will take only 3 minutes to open your account, but it is still safe. Okay. So it's also satisfies the customers, and also the bank gets the new accounts in a very short period, and it is saving a lot of time. Like you going to the bank, and you are not also going and keeping yourself waiting there, or
Yeah.
bank staff resources are saved, right?
Yeah. More not required to stand in the queue, wait for the representative to be free, fill in all the documents, paste your photograph, because today pasting a photograph also seems like I have to go to the studio and click a picture and then take it with me. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Uh,
So in this regard, if you see, it has become a very big welcome feature with the senior citizens, because senior citizens find very difficult for them to go to bank and open an account and all. So this is a very big, I mean, I would say it is a welcome from RBI, especially helping senior citizens or disabled people.
Yeah, but I have a question on this. Maybe I will come to that after we complete our discussion. So moving to the next topic, we talked about digital KYC and then everyday use case, right? But then as financial institutions adopt AI, the question isn't just about efficiency. It's about responsibility as well. So, right? So efficiency is important, but then responsibility is crucial. Automation can't replace judgment in every scenario. And you were just talking about human oversight, right? And it does remain crucial. So, how do financial institutions balance this automation with human oversight? And why is the human in the loop model still essential?
Yeah, so human in the loop matters. Why? Because RBI holds humans accountable, not the LLMs or the models used by AI, right? So for loan rejection or fraud closure, audit trails need a human sign off. So AI can come and check all the things, but sometimes loans may get rejected. So in that cases, the human loop should plays a key role, where they can check whether the AI has done some kind of misbehavior or something. It can be due to some model issues or bias or something, right? So trust and bias is a very very big thing. We call it as model drift. So humans catch when AI starts denying certain pin codes or job profiles also unfairly. Okay. So why this happens? Because so for example, when some certain profiles, right, gets rejected from certain pin code, so the AI will start doing the bias, right? So those are the very edge cases where AI models should improve on, right? So where to draw the line? AI proposes, a human disposes. That's it. So let's AI auto approve 90% low risk KYC profiles. Other things let human be in the loop, right?
Wonderful said. AI proposes, human disposes.
Yeah.
A great line. Okay, so now coming to conversational AI in BFSI. Customer support has evolved from simple FAQs to intelligent assistants that can understand context and intent as well. Large language models are now redefining how banks interact with customers, right? So we have seen a shift from rule-based chatbot to conversational AI powered by LLMs. So how do you see customer support evolving in the BFSI sector over the next few years?
Yeah, so I myself got very much bored when I call the customer care when I want to do some configuration, or I want to enable something on my credit card, right? You keep on get lost in the IVR, press one, press two, press three. Yeah,
Yes.
with AI, so this is transforming a lot. Now, like when we started the discussion, like I was talking about. Like how SDFC called me and asked me whether you did the transaction. It will just ask me whether you say yes or no, right? So that is the easiest thing to do. Instead of a customer care guy calling and first verifying my details, then asking me yes or no. So that is what AI plays a key role here. So when you give it to AI, it's just calling you and just asking whether yes or no, right? So so we are moving from that press one for balance, press two for recent transaction, that model. So you are like having the memory and context with AI LLMs know you called about and that failed UPI transaction 2 days ago. So no ticket number or all those dance required. So they will LLM will help you immediately based on the recent transaction will do. It just asks you whether this is about the recent transaction and that is the context it has, right? So it requires, so AI is like more action, not asking information. So tomorrow bots won't just tell balance; they'll move the money for you, book FDs, file disputes in case you're having any problem with your transaction, like you didn't transaction, it may be a fraud transaction like that, and it will be an end-to-end chat. Maybe tomorrow, already we are having voice, but we'll have voice plus vernacular, where in tier 2 or 3 cities of India will resolve issues by talking in the regional languages like Kannada, Tamil, or Hindi, not just typing in English, right? Uh,
Yeah.
so, so, so maybe this can be kind of disheartening. So all these call centers which are there, right, will be becoming smaller. Maybe 10x smaller, but AI will be 10x smarter, right? So that is the best part with AI.
Yeah. So, yeah, call center jobs, the redundant ones will obviously no longer be there. And the ones that will be there, I mean, obviously, I think we cannot remove 100% of the
Correct.
call center jobs. There has to be human in the group, as we were discussing.
Yeah.
But then, yes, I agree that jobs will evolve, even in the call centers as well.
Yeah.
So, moving to the next topic, I mean, everything is evolving, AI is evolving, technology is evolving, and so are fraudsters as well. So, fraudsters are constantly innovating, right? And financial institutions must stay ahead. So, AI is becoming the frontline defense, spotting anomalies in real time and protecting customers. So, how is AI helping banks and fintech companies stay one step ahead in detecting and preventing fraud in real time?
Yeah. Fraudsters use AI to attack, banks use AI to defend. So that is the golden word we have to remember. So it's an arms race, right? So how banks defend this, right? So network graphs. So what are network graphs? AI links devices, that is mobile devices or the laptop, where from which you transact, and SIMs, the SIM swap. All these issues are happening, right? So it'll link the same accounts across banks to bust all these mule rings. Okay, so mule in this regard is like someone doing proxy instead of you, right? So one device try to 100 accounts is instant blocker. So whenever a mule or a fraud person is trying to transact, right? So definitely he will use maybe using the same device to transact from multiple accounts. So that is the biggest signal for the AI to block that transaction or that impersonation, right? And next is behavioral biometrics. Definitely AI will be reading your behaviors, right? Like I told you, like not only region, all those things. There'll be like how fast you swipe your like card, or whenever you're trying to transact your UPI or your rhythm, everything, right? So it will definitely learn those things and definitely will try to block the transaction. What is the best thing here is it all happens within milliseconds. So it will be around 50 milliseconds. Though, yeah, the transaction may be taking that 50 millisecond slower, but that will be ensuring that safety, right? And bank can trust that also. So the closing point here is old world was rules catching yesterday's fraud. Now AI is predicting tomorrow.
Wonderful. Yes. So with that, let's move to the regulation. So as India's digital payments ecosystem expands, fraudsters are increasingly using this money mule accounts, right, to move stolen or illicit funds. To counter this, I think Shubh also talked about in the introduction that the RBI has launched this Mule Hunter.ai, which is an AI-powered system developed by the RBI Innovation Hub. It uses machine learning to detect suspicious transaction patterns and block mule accounts in real time, right? Helping banks strengthen fraud prevention and regulatory compliance. So, I would love to hear your perspective on this. Initiatives like this is generating significant interest. It is becoming a tool for ecosystem-wide risk management. What does this tell about the future role of AI in financial regulation and ecosystem-wide risk management?
Yeah, so in this regard, when the regulator, RBI, is working with companies to build certain models also in this regard, we have the regulator as a builder. So RBI isn't just supervising AI. It's also trying to bring up an ecosystem where you can validate all these things, right? If you look at I had recently met one person from newlender.ai. So it is just to validate whether like whether whenever a company, I mean, for example, a payment aggregator is onboarding any like for example e-commerce merchant, right? So that time they can easily validate whether they're having the account is a genuine account or a mule account, because they have some they use AI to check whether it is a genuine account or it is not used for it is a account which is misused based on certain whether name matches with the account holder name and the Aadhaar and the PAN and all, and certain other factors like what transaction was done in the mule account, whether the transaction was used like a proxy, etc. So there are several other factors, and there are also other things taken care by the organizations like system level defense. So no single bank sees the full fraud network. RBI level AI does, right? Across banks, wallets, and UPI. There is the next point is shift to prevention. Focus moves from penalty after fraud to stopping mule account onboarding itself, right? The closing here is expect more public good AI from regulators like UPI, but for risk, okay?
Yeah, so maybe we can expect to move towards a more proactive ecosystem than a reactive one that we have seen. That's that's something we expect. So now another interesting topic is instant loan approvals. We already talked about it, but then gone are the days of waiting weeks for loans, right? Loan approvals. AI-driven models now analyze multiple data instantly and making credit decisions faster and more accurate. So, what data points and intelligent models enable lenders to make credit decisions so quickly and accurately?
Yeah, so if you log into your HDFC account or any other account, right, you will see a ad banner on the top, like instantly 30-second loan, 30-second instant loan approval, right? So this is also a magic. It's based on your last 12 months of financial transactions, or your whatever CIBIL score you have, or whatever data it has, right? So what AI does is all based on your data only. It's nothing. It's going to do a wild guess, right? So that is why banks are able to approve such loans. what are the alternate data? So in this regard, right, it can be salary credit or bounce EMIs, vendor payments you do, even phone recharge regularly. Regularly you do. That is also the feed the model, right? What are the new things coming is we have ensemble models where gradient boosting plus scorecards give decision plus interest rate instantly. Okay, so with regulator ready audit trail. So in this regard, if you look at how these days this finance companies are approving loans for people who doesn't have any uh, PAN card or a, say even account itself, right? How they will do it. So that is called new to bank, okay, NTB. So where the loans are approved based on their UPI transaction, because you are having an person who is not even having a PAN card or any financial background. So in those cases, like they are trying to do it using UPI transaction or any other way of verifying. Okay.
Yeah, UPI transactions, I think these days it is a very common thing. Even for going for a cup of tea in the local shops, we no longer carry cash with us. We carry our phones. That is the most important thing for us now. Okay, coming to the financial inclusion. So traditional credit scoring often left out large segments of society, right? AI is now helping extend financial access to the first-time borrowers, the gig workers, and the small merchants. So how is AI helping bridge this gap and drive financial inclusion in India? Okay.
Yeah, so in this regard, Sibyl had 400 million Indians marked no file, right? So they didn't file returns. So AI seems them as a new file, right? So so cash flow underwriting in this regard, a Kirana store has daily QR collections, so which is becoming an income proof for them. So AI categorizes credits and measures stability. So the next one is gig economy data. So Swiggy or Zomato payouts, Uber trips, regular income without salary slip. So all these are tracked by AI. And we have the next is account aggregator ecosystem. So that is a very big data. So with consent, AI pulls banks, GST, investment data in one shot, and no docs, no branch visit, nothing. So here the closing statement what I will do give you is AI is why a student or gig worker can get credit today that banks couldn't price 5 years ago. So if you go to a bank before 5 years, if you do try to take a student loan, you know right what not they'll do. They'll ask you to go get all those documents, and students nowadays are smart enough to like go search the Gemini AI and get prepared for those things also.
Yeah, correct. I mean, things have started becoming more efficient these days, thanks to the background work that AI is doing. Now let's come to another important topic that everybody is concerned with, which is ethical AI concerns. I mean, we know that with great power that AI brings in, it also comes with a great responsibility, right? So as AI adoption grows, issues like bias, explainability, and privacy are becoming central to the conversation. I mean, when you were discussing how the data is collected, even somewhere within me, I was thinking that, oh my God, all my data is exposed, even my transaction and everything. So these are the privacy concerns I think many of us will be having. So what should organizations prioritize to ensure responsible and ethical AI deployment in fintech?
Yeah, so first thing what is my opinion is move fast, but don't break trust. So in fintech, trust is the only moat, and which is very important for any fintech or any even a bank or organization, right? In this regard, always RBI enforces fair practices code, needs clear rejection reasons for any loan is getting rejected. So low cash flow, it's not a model score for 542, what we call in banking terms. And your system should be enough to do the bias testing. It should check approval rates by gender, PIN code, occupation, etc. before even launching your new product, right? So you have to fix the disparity. Don't explain it later that our AI has failed or something, right? And you should always have all the things done. When you're going to give the data to AI, you should always have the consent and everything. Right? So that's why even the government is bringing this DPDP Act. That means KYC, selfie, like all those things can be used to train your marketing model, and also always keep the data boundaries clear. Okay. So if you look at the from the leadership perspective of every company, AI risk is business risk, and always the leadership must own it. Not just data science or the department of the company owns it, it's whole leadership. In the bottom line, one bias model or privacy breach erases 10 years of trust or the brand equity you have.
Right. So, in addition to this, I mean, RBI is ensuring a lot of guardrails and all, but then whether those are being followed or not, is there any check or audit happening with the financial institutions?
Yeah, definitely. RBI, to my knowledge, RBI is always doing all those audit on a regular basis. So see, like if you look at in the recent past, right, you would have seen some organizations where they are having their QR code kiosk in every shops, right? Is been like they have enforced embargo where they cannot onboard new merchants. This is all because they are not following certain guidelines what RBI is giving, and they don't have certain guidelines which is maybe they are using AI, but it is not within their boundaries, right? So all those things are a biggest challenge in when you're using AI.
Okay. Yeah, because somewhere down the line, I think those audits are also required.
Yeah.
To build that trust, as you said. I mean, one trust issue or privacy issue, it can erase last 10 years of trust with the description. Yeah. So now moving to the future trends. So AI is evolving rapidly. What feels cutting edge today may be mainstream tomorrow. And I'm sure, I mean, we were talking over some of your posts in LinkedIn where he was mentioning about AI agents doing the payments, and we were discussing, right? I mean, it looked cutting edge to me at least, but then you were telling that it's like already happening. So looking ahead helps us to prepare for the next wave of transformation, for sure. But if we were having this conversation 3 years from now, what emerging AI trends would you expect to have transformed the fintech landscape the most?
Yeah, you're right. Already, companies are using AI agents for onboarding their merchants, which is also already approved by RBI. And maybe 3 years from now, like like you do a chat in 2029 with me. Here, what I feel normal, right? So what are the things coming like agentic finance? Your AI co-pilot will auto move your idle cash to FD, disputes wrong charges, refinances loans without even asking you. So even in your previous question answer, I was talking about this, but this is going to be a reality. Okay. So then on-device AI, like now we are communicating with the ChatGPT or Copilot. Now in future, AI will be sitting on your device, and that will be helping for the loan eligibility on your phone using SMS or UPI data, and nothing leaves the device, and it will be instant and private. Okay, so again, the trust is ensured here, and multimodal fraud defense. So video KYC, voice, behavior, plus location fused. So all these things will ensure that deepfakes won't survive for 10 seconds also. Then
Okay.
we have RegTech as utility, RBI or SEBI AI APIs that all banks plug into for real-time compliance. Okay, so like we have GSTIN for tax. Now we'll have for everything. So the bottom line is AI shifts from back office efficiency to front office empowerment. The bank becomes your silent CFO. So every person will have a CFO now.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay. I think that brings us to our most interesting round, which is the rapid fire round. So let's start with it. One word that best describes the future of AI in fintech.
UPI?
Fraud detection or instant loan approval. Which UI use case has the biggest impact?
Fraud detection. That's very important.
Okay. One fintech innovation from the last decade that completely changed the game.
UPI.
I was expecting this answer.
Yes. See, I'll give you a very good comparison. So if you were like before the just pandemic started, right? Everyone you're using banks, and they were not having that much of trust on UPI also, right? So when we had this pandemic, so we were trying to reduce that touch and all those things. So people started UPI, and it was became gaining traction. So then it became a habit, right? And also, what is the beauty is earlier uh, the UPI was not only going to you go transact somewhere, and it'll get debited from your account. It is immediately credited for the merchant, right? Earlier, when you're doing card transaction, it will take up to 3 days. It's always T plus,
Yeah.
right? So bank also the merchants will have some settlement issues always, right? So all those things happen when you're going to use a card or the age-old other payment modes, right? Even if you look at before 15, 20, 15 or 20 years, where we had a machine which will take a copy of your card of, front, and the merchant has to go submit all those slips to the bank. That was more painful then. So we are been transforming every 20 years, and it is becoming a big transformation. Now, if you look at the recent past, we have the new technologies like face recognition, where you need not go give your OTP, right? It is called. I mean, it has been enabled with Apple. Apple, it's called Apple Pay, where you can go do the transaction without an OTP, just by face recognition, or even any other biometrics like your eye or something, right? So this is a very recent development.
Okay. Yeah, moving to the next one. If you could solve one problem in banking using AI overnight, what would it be?
Very interesting question. I would always think about solving how to fix all these deep fakes.
Okay. Okay.
It's a very big challenge. So deep fake, you would have seen, like we are getting always automated calls or even caller tunes asking people to be very careful with deep fakes and all those video calls, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm always thinking about that only.
Okay. Generative AI or agentic AI, which excites you more in life?
I would say generative AI is fast, agentic AI is is present, and it is going to be the future.
Okay. One skill every student should learn if they want to work in AI-driven fintech.
It's they have to understand the value of data. So data literacy, that is called called fintech data. So they have to understand what is fintech data, how it is going to be like. So it is trying them to educate like. You are say you are going to an Xerox shop or took photocopy your PAN card or even a Aadhaar card, right? So there can be a different misuse, right? So
Yes.
we have to tell them like everything. I mean, every data is must be trusted as an identity, or it is going to represent a person. So every data is important. We have to educate them. It should be treated as a person, not a data where you can do go and misuse with the data, or always try to safeguard them.
Right, right. Data is really important because everything just boils down to data.
Yeah.
One AI myth that you wish people should stop believing.
Sorry, could you repeat?
One AI myth that you wish people should stop believing.
One AI myth which people should stop believing. Trust. You should trust AI based on the context.
Okay. UPI, Aadhaar, or account aggregator, India's most transformative digital innovation.
UPI.
Yes. Okay. And the last one, complete the sentence. The future of financial services belong to organizations that
Uses AI with trust.
That's a good one. And with that, we end this discussion, and now it's open for questions. So, do we have some questions?
I think Swarna has a question already. So Swarna, would you like to go first?
Yeah. One moment.
But before that, Raghuram, it was a great session and a lot of insights, right? A lot of new things we got to know. Thank you so much for that. And let's hear out some questions. Okay, if Swarna takes a little bit of time, let me ask already she has asked the question. How about Nationalist Bank? Will they adopt AI in the near future?
So in this regard, Swarna, I'm not sure why you are having this question, because already nationalized banks are already adopting AI. Yeah, especially when you look at the like whatever Gen AI we were talking about, right? Already these nationalized banks are already using them to answer queries. I'm not sure whether you have used their website or their apps. Definitely they are using, to my knowledge. Still, I'm not having the context, like in what context you're saying they're not adopting AI. Okay, they're not still adopting. No, it's a traditional, following the traditional approach. Maybe I should visit.
Maybe I can add one more context to it so that you can answer it together. I'm also thinking about the volume, right? You talked about HDFC. The number of customers, right, they are dealing with on a day, a service manager in SBI, right, the number of people and the different kind of requests they are dealing with. You already talked about senior citizen, etc. And I know that the pensions and other things are kind of maybe made digital, etc. But there are hell lot of different type of requests. I don't know whether people are going to HDFC for those kind of requests or those kind of challenges. Education loan you take Annapurna Bhandar or anything for that matter, right? Any government subsidy kind of stuff. So a single service manager has to address all these things. So considering the volume of service and the customer, is it really, are we Are we in that position that the nationalized banks are or can be compared with the kind of HDFC or ICICI for that matter? Like that was just an addition to the question.
Yeah, I got it, Subbu. Like, yeah. So here also she has mentioned that I got to visit SBI Bank of late. They asked me to fill the KYC forms and other schemes manually. Maybe, maybe the certain edge cases where they ask you to fill KYC forms manually, it can be can happen. But to my knowledge, like all most of the banks are doing all the KYC automatically based on the things you submit. So even I've seen banks asking the KYC documents for KYC renewal and all through mail only. Or I generally don't entertain that. I always even go to bank directly, because even you have spam mail or everything, right? So sometimes I also don't believe them. I go in person to the bank and ask them whether you really ask for the KYC. Yeah, so
Yes.
yeah, so that also happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can add in one more point. So, especially talking about SBI, the experience that I had, yes, I agree to you that they have started using technology. But then the adoption rate among all the branches are not equal, right? So when I visit to a branch which is near to the IT industry, the managers are really very efficient. They always ask you, say, don't need to come. You can just give me your document screenshot and I'll do everything for you. We have mobile banking. They teach us how to use the YONO app. But then when you go to a branch in a village, I'm sure they're not aware of many of the things. So I think somewhere down the line in SBI itself, there's a need of educating the employees.
Yeah.
That is somewhere missing, because recently I faced in a situation where there was a conflict with your normal KYC and the CKYC.
Yeah.
And the managers, I mean, we reached out to multiple nationalized banks, and as per the rule, it says that any of the banks can actually do a re-KYC and solve the problem if there's a mismatch in the name or something. But then most of them were not aware. So, and surprisingly, the issue got resolved by SBI itself. So SBI seems to have a department of CKYC of their own. But these managers are not aware of that as well. So that department got looped in when I raised a complaint for the CKYC help desk. So they looked in the SBI, all the top-notch people, and they then plugged in the department that is responsible for CKYC. And then it ultimately got resolved by the CKYC team of SBI itself. So yes, nationalized banks are doing it. They are including technology. But then somewhere down the line, I think the education that all the employees should have about it is missing.
Yeah, so well said, Subra. So educating all the employees, training on AI, these are all very essential, because without enough training, they may also go wrong with handling the AI capabilities. Definitely, like what Shubhu said, we have banks where they are handling so much volumes of customers, but there are still nationalized banks which are still lacking behind. So all this can be solved when they have enough training, but also they should have enough well equipped with those things, right? They should have their systems enabling them in their branches. Right?
And one more thing, and before I think maybe this is so close to our heart and our day in day out activity which we are facing, so I'm sure like we can just go on and on with a lot of questions. But again, another thing, education is one part of it. Another part of it is the reluctance. The people should be right. We can provide education, but are you really taking that education and getting yourself updated to that?
Yeah.
You brought in a very good point of HITL, right? Human in the loop. Now, let's say for 90% of the cases, right? See, why are we giving this education? To serve the customer, not to harass the customer, right? That should be our primary objective, right? In SBI, we are seeing that a lot of big frames written by Mahatma Gandhi's customer service, right? But actually, are they doing it? I have huge respect for SBI and many other nationalized banks, but in reality, it is whether they are empowered to override certain system decision, because they always keep it on system and they are saying, oh, system has rejected that. Now, what is the next step? Right?
Mm.
Can you override that? Because
Yes.
they are empowered to override those kind of decisions. Now
Yeah.
we can come up with a lot of examples around that where they are not empowering themselves, or they are not probably exercising their empowerment right on top of the system and just passing the buck to system.
Mm.
So it is not nothing to do with AI. It is for like when the computer was there, that same problem came in, right? When the transition from the manual to computer. Now this is even bigger. So as you rightly said, education is very important, but also whether should I enable myself, whether should I go to the next level and use it for the betterment of my customer, that mindset has to change. So from that
Intent
perspective,
is missing.
intent is missing, exactly. So from that perspective, corporate banks are more, because they have their appraisal process and many other things, right? Maybe. But here, since we don't have those kind of stuff, we are little lagging, and still I believe, maybe I'm completely wrong, but still I think nationalized bank has a long way to go. So
Yeah, rightly said, Shubho. So it's again here, right? So when you're in a when you're living in a tier one city and or maybe a tier two city also, you get a lot of exposure, right? You talk to people, you get a lot of exposure. Similarly, the bank employees in the maybe in the remote locations or the tier three cities, they may not have the exposure. So education brings in a lot in this. So they will be definitely empowered, and they will be feeling confident also to use such capabilities what other private banks offer.
Any other questions? Anybody from the audience? If nobody has, then maybe I can have one. Okay, let me go ahead with the question. So, Raghuram, you were mentioning about the benefits that senior citizens might get by not visiting the banks. But then, with senior citizens, this reluctance is also a big factor, right? Because majority of them are afraid to use technology. Why I'm using the word afraid is because they are really afraid of the frauds happening.
Yes.
Because they don't understand what it is and they might fall a prey to it. So, how do you think we should, bring in that trust factor with the senior citizens as well, so that they can actually get benefited from the technology that is available to them?
Yeah, very good question. In this regard, it's all like exposure, right? Now everyone is reading about deep fake, all those things, and even government is trying to bring in awareness, right? But still, deep fakes are still happening. But it's all with awareness and exposure. So willingness to learn, that is also very important. So if you look at senior citizens, they are the avid readers of. If you see the newspapers and all, so maybe those mediums can help them learn about what are the latest developments about AI, and how they can overcome all these fraud or even deep fakes or something. Yeah, if you look at, there are some organizations, for example, I have one connection who is running some organization for senior citizens, where they are conducting sessions on AI to just to educate them what are the latest developments of AI from the basics, and those things definitely will help them overcome all these difficulties. So whatever organization I was talking about, it's a non-profit organization, and it is just trying to help the senior citizens to for their longevity, and uh, to also there do some entertainment and all for them. So it is those organizations which should come forward and do all these kind of bringing literacy to them, and create awareness on AI. And you always remember that. So when you bring in trust, right? Like what I was telling you, like banks are advertising, you can open a bank account in in this many 3 minutes, right? So when others are doing that, senior citizens may also be feeling confident to go there and open a bank account, and they'll be very much pleased to do that, because it will be a very big issue for them to go in the busy city traffic, commute, and go to a branch, right? So definitely times are changing. I definitely believe that already we have not visiting branch these days because of ATMs. Now with UPI, even ATM transaction has drastically
Right.
reduced. Even now maybe in future bank visits will be a very remote case, and it will be maybe we'll be visiting only ATMs once in a while. That's it. Maybe that is also for depositing the cash, not anything else.
Right. Well said.
Yeah, but so what is the beauty here? When the government is bringing all these things, you can see that all these cash transactions are getting eliminated, and you are seeing that all that underworld, what we call black money, everything is going like disappearing, right? So we can see better transparency among everyone, and the government will get more taxes, and it will be enabling more infrastructure for the society, right? So that is the biggest beauty, I would say, with UPI. That's why always in most of your questions, I would say UPI is the best in this regard.
Yeah. Any other questions from anybody? I guess no. So thank you, Raghuram. Thank you for those insightful perspectives. It's clear that AI is not just a buzzword in fintech. It's already reshaping customer experiences, risk management, and financial inclusion as well. As we look ahead, responsible adoption will be a key to unlocking its full potential. Thank you to everybody who joined today and made this discussion engaging. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, Subra. Thanks, Subbu, for having me here. It was it was a pleasure sharing all my experiences, and I did learn few things before this session also. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.